Very good evening. This is Kilo Papa for Mike Delta, net control for the River City Arc Slow Scan Television Net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. on the N6NA repeater on 441.30 megahertz in Sacramento, California, and also on our club's YouTube channel. River City Arcs members and all licensed radio amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. The double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with their full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before I continue. So any station wishes to check into the net, please come now.
N6YG, George and Lincoln.
Alpha India 6 Delta Golf, Joel and Florin.
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec, Bob in Roseville.
Kilo 6, Kilo Romeo, Quebec, Bill in Natomas.
Okay, we have a really good turnout here. We've got November 6 Yankee Golf, that's George. We have Alpha India 6 Delta Golf, that's Joel. And we have November 6 Papa Golf Quebec, that's Bob. And we have Kilo 6 Kilo Romeo Quebec, and that's Bill. Are there anybody else who would like to check in? Please come now. Okay, very good. I'd like to welcome everybody to our pre-Christmas net because next Wednesday will be Christmas night, and I don't know, we might have Santa Claus show up. We shall see what happens next week, who shows up on the net. So let me go over to George N6YG, and if you're ready to send a picture, we're ready to copy. Over.
All right, well, good evening, Carol in the net. Take a look here and at my settings. I think I'm ready. Let's see if I have a cone here.
Okay, yeah, N6YG's KP4MD. That picture came through very, very well. Um, a few, I think, areas of fading, which was probably on the original picture, and a call sign, Delta Papa Zero Sierra November X-ray, which looks like a German call sign. So let's go over to you, Joel. AI6DG. What did you copy of this, and what do you make of it? Over.
I'm not sure I got what you got. I'll have to go look at the YouTube channel. But all I have is a. Looks like it's maybe a satellite reception. I see some looking down some clouds, maybe a lot of water and some land. But I don't see any print at all, so I'm a little confused. Although I missed the top of it. Okay, maybe what you're describing is at the top. So I'm assuming this is like a weather satellite image of something, but I don't understand the significance, and now I'm not even sure I got what I'm supposed to. So I got to go to the YouTube and go see what you received. But that's all for me. AI6TG, back to you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the call sign was at the upper left corner of the picture, and this was sent MR90 mode. So over to you, Bob, N6PGQ. What did you copy of it, and what do you make of it? Over.
Well, I've got to agree with DG. I didn't get much of anything. I've got an ID across the top and a couple of long bars across the bottom. It could be a weather picture. I have no clue. The only thing I can see is the TP0SNX. I'm going to have to be tutored N6PGQ.
Okay, very good. Back over to you, George. You can explain to us what this interesting picture is. Over.
Yeah, it was the Sonnet 2 ham radio satellite. Normally it just transmits telemetry or APRS stuff. And so the radio was, the system was set up on automated, and I came back to this, and apparently Sonnet 2 was sending out SSTV images. So, I'm still trying to figure out what I was looking at. It's like, it's a very interesting choice of an image to send. I thought it might have been Florida. So yeah, I received that on November 30th at 22:39 Zulu. So, and they were sending in Martin 1. The original one was sent in Martin 1. So, I have no idea what landmass that is, or if it's in North America. It kind of looks like it might be Florida, but it's hard to tell. So yeah, you can definitely see the cloud cover. I was just wondering if anybody else had copied any images from the Sonnet satellite. So I think this was the only one that I had copied. I copied some from I think it's RS40S as well, that was sending SSTV, and you were supposed to send an image in and get a certificate, but I never got mine. So yeah, that's what this is. Yeah, there was some fading across the top, and so yeah, that was an interesting choice of an image for them to send.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing that. I did a Google search on that call sign, and it comes up with the University of Würzburg in Germany. Apparently, this is a university project that has this satellite up there, and yeah, it certainly looks like a weather photograph. I wonder what that is. Kind of almost looks like the Kamchatka Peninsula. I don't know. It depends what the orientation is, but very interesting. And you do see the clouds there, and most of it is water. Just the little piece of land that's coming up from the top, going down towards the bottom and kind of curving. Very interesting. Anybody else have any other comments or questions about this before we move on?
K6KRQ.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I got the whole picture. Like George said, at first I thought it was Florida, but now I'm not going to rest till I find out what it is. But I want to ask George, with the image I got on the computer, it looks like the one on YouTube. Did you get it from the satellite with all the pixelation on it?
Yeah, that's how I downloaded it. And I don't think it's Florida. It might be the coastline around Uruguay and Argentina, but I don't think so, because then it would have to be a stored image that they were just sending, rather than rather than a live image, which is probably what it was.
Yeah, I'm not going to rest till I find out what it is. Interesting. That's okay. It gives me a challenge.
Well, let me know when you find out.
Okay, I guess one thing you could do is you can use the Google Lens app on your smartphone, and that thing can identify almost any pattern. You point it at it and it'll match it against another pattern, and it might even tell you the exact part of the world that is. I haven't tried that, but that's an option. But thank you very much for sharing this very interesting satellite picture that you received from this apparently university project that's going around the Earth right now. What frequency did you say you received it on? Over.
I believe that was on the ISS frequency of 145.825.
Oh, okay. So it might be worth doing some more Googling, and maybe we can get some more information, because I see they even are on the APRS map as well. So very interesting. They've got some new. It says artificial intelligence hardware and software technologies in a miniaturized format in a low Earth orbiting satellite. That is very, very interesting. Thank you very much for sharing that. Let's go over to our next station on the list here, Joel. AI6DG, if you've got a picture for us, we're ready to copy. Over. Yes, you have a very good tone. Go ahead.
ED120.
Thank you very much for that picture. Very interesting. Let's turn it over to next in line, K6KRQ. Bill, how did you copy that and what do you make of that picture? Over.
This is Bill, K6KRQ. I got it real well. Some pixel pops. It looks like a panorama or a fisheye lens, in a letterbox of it looks like a hotel. I was going to say a visitor center, but I see all those windows. It looks like a hotel somewhere. I'm going to guess it's somewhere here in America, but that's about all I can make of it. I'm like stumped. I don't recognize the building. Back to you, Carol, K6KRQ.
Okay, this is KP4MD. Yeah, I'm going to guess that looks like some kind of like a chalet building. And since Joel sent that, I'm going to guess this is on top of some mountain resort place. This is just my guess. I have no idea what it is. But we'll go back up to George. N6YG, how did you copy that and what do you make of that picture? Over.
It came over pretty good. Just some pixel pops. And it's got the handicap parking spots are, I'm not sure how other countries handle that, but that definitely looks like it's the U.S. The license plates, I don't see any long license plates, so I'm just curious about the picture itself. Either that's I'm not seeing distortion in the vehicles. There's a pretty pronounced curve in that sidewalk, but there's no distortion in the vehicles. And the building has a very unusual shape, so I'm not sure that it's a fisheye lens that's creating that effect. If it is, then it should be creating the same effect on the people in the foreground and the background should be distorted, but they're not. So we'll send it back over to Joel to find out. Well, actually, I'm sorry, we'll send it back over to Carol and N6YG.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for that insight, George. And so, Joel, yeah, please tell us what this picture is. Explain it more to us, please. Over.
This is the Timberline Lodge in Oregon on the side of Mount Hood. And the famous aspect of this is that this was shown in the Stanley Kubrick's movie The Shining in some of the exterior shots. I've got a little web page that's describing some of the shots in that movie, and he kind of went all over the place because there were real famous opening scenes where it was a helicopter shot as the car's driving up the road, and that's actually in Glacier National Park, Montana. Most of the movie itself was actually shot on stage in England. There's some mention about an overlook hotel back east somewhere. I'm not sure how that fits in. But inside of the actual hotel that's in this photo is absolutely nothing like what you see in the movie. What you see in the movie is completely a stage, although it's got heavy influences from the Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite Valley. But Kubrick did some really strange things in the movie. Basically, if you try to make sense of the floor plan of the hotel from the pan shots and all the different scenes in the movie, it just doesn't fit together. So he's purposely trying to confuse you and disorient you within the movie. Anyway, this was a couple of years ago, back during that eclipse that went through Washington, Oregon, and across the U.S. I was up there for that, and we did a site trip up to Mount Hood and to this hotel to wandered around. It's actually nothing like what it was originally. They've added a lot of ski on the side of a mountain, in the mountains, lots of snow, ski resort. That's what it's turned into. So they've got ski lifts, a ski lodge, parking lots. It's not wilderness anymore. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that explanation, Joel. Are there any other questions or comments about this before we move on? Okay, Joel, I'd just say thank you for sharing this historical landmark that was quite prominent in a movie, although I don't remember ever watching that movie, but thank you very much for sharing that. Let's go next to Bob, N6PGQ. We're ready for your picture, over.
Okay, this is PD120 N6PGQ.
Okay, thank you very much for that picture, Bob. We're going to go to Joel, AI6DG. How did you copy that, and any comments on that, over?
Wow, I was going to say excellent reception, but it's actually beyond that. It's almost perfect. I'm trying to find any pixel pops, and I'm not really seeing any. It's kind of hard to tell. There might be one or two, but they blend. They're either not there or they're so few, and they blend in excellent with the image itself. We're looking at a bunch of post office boxes, but the old style. So these are like cast metal with a nice fancy patterned trim around the door, and a knob for a combo lock that goes from A to, I think, is it J, H-I-J, but must be missing a bunch of letters. And numbers, 13273, 74, 13283, 84, 13293, 94. I don't. Are there any post offices that still have boxes like this? Because they're pretty sterile now. This is definitely old school. Kind of like safety deposit boxes. The one, I do have a safety deposit box, but it's probably 50, 60, 70 years old, old school. It's actually moved from when the bank moved many years ago, and I have no idea what modern boxes are like. Anyway, neat photo, neat boxes. Look forward to hearing more. AI6DG back to net.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Joel. Yes, I have a perfect copy. I don't see any pixel pops at all on this. Beautiful picture and very nostalgic and reminiscent from I've seen these before. Over to you, Bill, K6KRQ. How did you copy this in your comments? Over.
This is Bill, K6KRQ. You know what? That's probably since I've been with you all, it's probably the best image I've got. It's just like Joel said and you said, I don't see any pixel pops in it. So I would be remiss if I didn't know what those were. But to Joel's question, I don't think that they use those anymore. I didn't work field maintenance. Those are the guys that take care of those. But I'll tell you this, at the old Royal Oaks post office, which they still use, there's some machines in there still. Up in storage, I've seen tons of these upstairs there when I was still working. So very interesting picture. Oh, and also I would see them, and I don't really know how they work with those alphabetical combination things there. So, and I never learned. So now I'm kind of sorry. But excellent picture. Back to you, Carol.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Let's go back to you, Bob, and please and fill us in on where you got this picture and more about it. Over.
Well, I sent a picture of post office box doors earlier that was at the Lincoln post office, and they were the modern type. These are the old-fashioned, like I said, they're old cast iron, and they have the combination lock. And interestingly, in the same post office, and these are current, they have replaced them by pulling the combination out of it and putting a key lock in there. So these are currently used. I had to find a section that had all of them together, but like was mentioned earlier, this was taken today at the Royal Oaks Post Office, and so they still do exist, N6PGQ.
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead. Comment, please.
I'm ashamed that I didn't know they still used them there. I just wanted to put that in there. K6KRQ.
I'm going to make a comment too. They had those at the post office, old post office in Lincoln, and all you did was remember your 3 letters, and you'd do the master lock sort of thing, go past one and go to the other one, and it wasn't real secure, but anyway, it kept the honest people honest. N6PGQ.
Okay, thank you very much for that discussion. And I remember actually opening, having a PO box that I had a combination on it years and years and years ago, and how it worked. It was quite good. Didn't have to worry about bringing a key along. Thanks for sharing that. Let's go on to the next bill, K6KRQ. If you have a picture for us, we're ready to copy. This is KP for MD.
I certainly do. Hey, when you guys send a tone, what do you do? Like click that 1750 button and then click it again to stop?
Yep, that's exactly what we do. Go ahead.
Did that work?
There was a comment first. I didn't hear the tone, but go ahead, comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you, if you right-click on that 1700, you can actually put in any tone you want, like 1200 or something like that, so it lines right up. I like to use 1200 because then it'll line right up with the 1200 on the waterfall.
Oh, I'm glad I asked. I just changed it to 1200. Let me try it. I'm not transmitting. Hold on. Did you get a tone that time?
Yes, yes, that tone came through very clear. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I had my baud rate changed for doing FT8. I don't know if I can keep it the same for everything. Anyway, here comes a picture.
Okay, thank you, K6KRQ. This is KP4MD. And that picture came through very, very clear, nice bright colors. I think because of the clear blue sky there, we did see, I don't know, about 5 or 6 little pixel pops. But otherwise, good solid copy. And we'll go back to the top of the list and see, George, how did you copy that in your comments on it? N6YG, KP4MD, over.
I've got an excellent copy, just a few pixel pops. I'm getting that Morier pattern across the blue sky, little waves. Have to enlarge it, click on the magnifier, but I see it. Curious what causes that, if that's multipath or what, or something in the receive setup. But the picture came over absolutely excellent. Union Pacific locomotive and a couple of cars, caboose, and I'm not sure what I'm looking off on the side track, but this came over real well. So back to net N6YG.
Okay, thank you for that, George. Joel, AI6GG, how did you copy it and your comments on it, over?
Excellent reception, pretty much as George said. Yeah, I'm really kind of curious what those weird things on the side track. There's a whole bunch of them. They're red on the right side. I doubt that this is an actual train station, so it's probably a museum or some sort of enthusiast type of event. Both from whatever those strange things are on the right and from only being a two-car train, it almost looks like a rail enthusiast excursion. Comment about the photo I sent earlier that I forgot to say. They're asking about the lens, fisheye or not. It was not a fisheye. That was actually taken with my cell phone. Cell phone has a panoramic mode where you start on the left side. You click take the photo, and then you slowly rotate the camera to the right, and it adds to the photo as you turn the camera, and that it gives you what ends up being, for those photo nerds, a cylindrical projection as compared to a rectilinear projection that's a normal camera. It gives you no distortion on the horizontal plane, but you get the normal rectilinear type of distortion up and down. So if there was any distortion on the photo, it was probably the combination of the strange shape of the building and a side effect of it being a cylindrical projection. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, thank you for that. That's going to go back to K6KRQ. So, Bill, can you please tell us more about this picture? Over.
K6KRQ. Joel was pretty perceptive. That's one of the Nevada State Railway museums. This one's in Boulder City, and I'm kind of thrilled you guys noticed the things on the right. I wish I would have moved more to the right. What they are like these two-seater, and there's four-seater ones like rail pedit car things. And what you can do, I've never done it, but you get one of the cars, 2 people or 4 people, and you run it down that rail because it's not an active rail anymore, and it runs to Railroad Pass, which is the pass which is now Interstate 8, between Henderson and Boulder City. And then you ride it down there. It's those gradual downhills. You don't have to exert yourself. And then that train runs down there, and it brings you back. And that's what George was commenting about, and Joel, those blue cars there. And so that was pretty good. You guys like spotting that. One thing I'd like to say is, like George noticed the caboose. Kids today, like I know mine don't, and they're in their 30s. They've never seen a caboose, at least not one in action. So anyway, that's the story on that. Back to you, Carol.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other comments or questions about this picture before we move on? Certainly a very interesting piece of history there, and thank you for sharing that picture there, Bill. I'm going to go ahead and send a picture now, and this is going to be also PD120. This is KP4MD. Okay, of course, there's got to be a radio-themed picture among all the pictures we send here. So I'm going to go up to you, Bob. N6PGQ, how did you copy that and your comments on it? Over.
Well, the quality is really quite good. There's a few pixel pops here and there. Somebody's been winding toroids and making filters. Looks like you're making modules to change the filter in a QRP rig. I'd be interested to know how they plug in, whether there's plugs on the back of it or you use jumpers. But looks like you've got 5 assorted different bands, so it's going to be interesting to know what it goes in N6PGQ.
Okay, thank you for that, Bob. Next, Bill, K6KRQ, how did you copy that and what do you make of it? Over.
This is Bill, K6KRQ. First off, I got the picture real well, some pixel pops. I didn't know quite much. Obviously, I recognized the bands, and I noticed that they looked like separate pieces, so Bob kind of helped me out with mentioning that they might have some modularity. But what I am curious about of those boards, are they like all-purpose? You can do anything with them boards, kind of like like a breadboard idea, but just solder it in and with your own design. So kind of an observation and a question. Back to you, Carol, K6KRQ.
Okay, thank you. This is KP4MD. Very good, spot on. These are plug-in filter boards that I've put together over the past week for the Tuna 10S. That's a little QRP transmitter that we as a club had built back in 2021. It was the DIY Radio Builders Group, and it originally had a single band filter wired right into the main printed circuit board, and I really wanted to be able to try this transmitter on different bands for the longest time. So what I did was I pulled the filter components off the main printed circuit board, and I put some header sockets in there, 4 header sockets, and in the holes, existing holes for some capacitors in there. And I got these little perf boards. These are called perf boards, which you can customize, mount parts on there, solder into those little holes, and then you'll run wires, for connections to the different parts that are on there. So these it's quite a motley collection. Of capacitors. You can see there's ceramic disc capacitors. There's some the kind of oblong, shiny brown colored ones are silver mica capacitors, and then there's some rectangular capacitors that are all very, very old, what they called dipped mica capacitors. Not dipped, I'm sorry, molded mica capacitors that I had in my junk box from probably around the 1970s. So these capacitors, a lot of these are antiques, and they were sitting in my junk box for the longest time, and I needed capacitors of certain values, and those are the ones that I had. So I did wind the toroids and put all those capacitors together, and lo and behold, this thing absolutely works. And I can get that transmitter now. It used to be only on 7 megahertz, and now it goes on 80 meters, 60 meters, which is 5.3 megahertz. Also gets on the 30 meter band, 10 megahertz, and 14 megahertz, and it does a pretty good darn deal. The connectors on the back side of those, on the bottom side of those boards, are pin headers. There's actually 3 pins on each of the connectors in each of the 4 corners, and it matches up with the sockets that are on the printed circuit board. So That was a lot of fun winding these things, and the total cost of components for each of those boards comes to somewhere around between $2 and $3. That's what they cost each. So if you put a little work into building stuff, you can get some really economical solutions for different projects. Any questions about this as KP4MD?
K6KRQ.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Bill, over.
Oh, I just wanted to comment that the image I have on YouTube looks better than the one I have on my computer. The YouTube one that anybody else can see has really good contrast. And also, I want to ask you, for the past several weeks, you've showed us like some of your QRP, CW apparatus, and a couple other things. It looks like you have some kind of toroid winding bug. Back to you, Carol, K6KRQ.
Oh yeah, we joke about that. Yeah, the winding the toroids. It's like an obsession. It takes a lot of patience, but I don't think there's very much difference between that and crocheting or knitting. It's a repetitive thing where you just need to count the number of turns, and it's really precision because you need to have the right number of turns and the right spacing between the turns for these inductors to give you the proper inductance to work properly in the filters. So it's a great. I mean, it's much easier to do one of these inductors, make them yourself, rather than to try and build a capacitor. So I would not try to build those capacitors for that exact capacitance that they have. So it's some people are scared of winding coils and toroids, and I criticize those people. I say they suffer from inductophobia. It really isn't all that hard, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment doing something like this and actually having it work. K6KRQ, KP4MD.
No, thanks for that. The reason I comment and ask about that is because I think I told you before I'm interested in getting one of those kits. I like the kits just for kits' sake. So that's me. Back to you, Carol, K6KRQ.
Oh, absolutely. Building a kit is a very satisfying experience. And K0NEB, that's Joe Eisenberg. You can look him up. Kilo Zero November Echo Bravo is a big proponent of kit building, and he does seminars about kit building. He's really into that. He's an awesome guy. And, I say amateur radio is one of the only, I think it probably is the only radio service, licensed radio service, that the FCC allows you to build your own equipment and to use it on the air, because you're responsible to have it working properly. Everybody else that has different licenses, GMRS, broadcast and stuff, they can't build their own equipment. It has to be type accepted. So absolutely, if you don't do any building, you're missing out on half of all the fun of amateur radio. That's my personal feeling. I don't know how anybody else feels about that. But I'm really a proponent of, even if you don't start building kits like this, you can start with something simple like antennas, which you've already done. And that is really gives you a good sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Anybody else? Any comments? This is KP4MD. Okay, nothing heard. Well, we're up, let's see, almost a full hour here. I want to thank everybody for an awesome net. We had some really good pictures to share. And going to ask George, sometimes you have like a 73 picture that you usually like to share to end the net if you want, or if anybody else has another picture you really want to send, we have some time. Over.
I have a 73 picture I can send.
Okay, thank you. Please proceed. It's KP4MD. Well, and N6YG and the net. This is Killer Pop for Mike Delta. I want to thank you very much for that parting picture. And again, I would like to wish everyone a very, very happy and Merry Christmas coming up next Wednesday. I'm sure I'll be around for the net if anybody wants to show up and send any appropriately themed pictures next Wednesday. We shall see. So, again, thanks to all who participated in tonight's Slow Scan Television Net. We hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Pacific Time. This net is now officially closed at 9:55 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is Carol, Kilo Papa for Mike Delta, wishing all of you a very good evening and a very Merry Christmas. 7-3 to all.
Thanks for running the net, Carol. And by the way, I'm not sure if it was me, if I was on my end, but I thought I heard some cutting out in your audio. Although I'm getting bombarded tonight by paid pause. So.
No, you're absolutely right. You're probably going to hear some cutting out in my audio because I'm talking into my signal link, so the Vox can sometimes chop me off partially. I'm not using a push to talk. Over.
Okay, good. I'm glad it was. I thought I was hearing things there for a minute. So, all right, I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm seeing S9 pulses off paid pause tonight. Sometimes I have to switch over to my horizontal antenna to get away from that. So, all right, thank you very much. N6YG.
Very good. 7-3 to all. KP4MD now clear.